Today, we will be replacing the screen on an Apple iPhone 6 Plus. This repair will take about 30 to 45 minutes. You'll be handling fragile parts, so take your time and be gentle. Required tools: pentalobe screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, plastic spudger, plastic opening tool, tweezers, metal blade, and a suction cup. Be sure to use the Werx repair mat to keep all screws organized. Some screws have the same size but different lengths and can be easily misidentified during reassembly. If your display glass is cracked, keep further breakage contained and prevent bodily harm during your repair by taping the glass using packing tape. Lay overlapping strips of tape over the iPhone's display until the whole phone is covered. Wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from any glass shaken free during their repair, and be sure to wear an anti-static wrist strap to prevent static charges in the device. Before disassembling your iPhone, be sure it is powered off. Remove the two pentalobe screws to the lightning connector. With a plastic opening tool or a metal blade, begin to gently pry the rear case down away from the display assembly. Do not try to completely remove the front panel assembly from the rear case, as there are several ribbon cables still attached at the top of the iPhone. Remove the following screws securing the front panel assembly cable bracket: 3 1.2mm Phillips screws, 1 1.5mm Phillips screw, and 1 2.9mm Phillips screw. Remove the front panel assembly cable bracket from the logic board. Use a plastic opening tool to disconnect the 4 front panel assembly cables: the front-facing camera and sensor cable, the home button cable, the digitizer cable, as well as the LCD cable. Remove the front panel assembly from the rear case. Connect the LCD to the logic board to perform a small test. Remove the two 1.9mm Phillips screws securing the home button bracket. Remove the home button bracket from the front panel. Remove one 1.7mm Phillips screw next to the home button. Use a plastic tool to disconnect the home button cable connector by pushing it up and away from the home button. Use a plastic tool to carefully separate the home button cable from the adhesive securing it to the front panel. Gently push the top left corner of the home button away from the front panel. Do not push the home button all the way through. You only need to get a corner free so that you can pry it free with the spudger. Remove the following Phillips screws from the earpiece, speaker, and front-facing camera bracket. One 2.3mm Phillips screw, one 3mm Phillips screw, and one 2.2mm Phillips screw. Remove the earpiece, speaker, and front-facing camera bracket from the front panel. Remove the 1.7mm Phillips screw securing the LCD shield plate to the display assembly. Remove three 1.6mm screws on each side of the LCD frame. This will give you 6 in total. Lift the front-facing camera end of the LCD shield plate up slightly. Do not attempt to remove the shield plate entirely. It is still attached to the front panel by the adhered down home button cable. Remove the LCD shield plate. Using a plastic opening tool, be extremely cautious as you peel the home button cable. Lift the front-facing camera out of its recess in the front panel. Holding the front-facing camera out of the way, remove the earpiece speaker from the front panel. Using the tip of a plastic opening tool, gently pry up the sensor cable assembly from its recess in the display assembly. Carefully pry the microphone end of the sensor cable off of the adhesive holding it to the front panel. Pry the microphone portion from the front-facing camera and sensor cables from the display assembly. Remove the front-facing camera and sensor cable from the front panel. Make sure to remove the protective cover from your new display assembly. For reassembly, make sure to transfer over the LCD shield, home button, front-facing camera assembly, front-facing camera lens bezel, and earpiece speaker to your new part. Insert the LCD shield plate. Insert the 2 Phillips screws securing the LCD shield plate to the display assembly. Take your time and make sure screws are lined up correctly before tightening. This will help prevent strapping a screw. Screws should be tightened until snug. Do not over-tighten these screws. Insert 1 Phillips screw next to the home button. Insert 3 screws on each side of the LCD shield plate. This will give you 6 in total. Insert the home button to the display assembly. Insert the home button bracket to the front panel. Insert 2 Phillips screws securing the home button bracket. Carefully insert the microphone sensor cable into the display assembly. Place the ambient light sensor back into the front panel. Holding the front-facing camera out of the way, insert the earpiece speaker to the front panel. Place the front-facing camera back into place. Insert the earpiece, speaker, and front-facing camera bracket to the front panel. Also insert the 3 Phillips screws to the earpiece speaker and front-facing camera bracket. Insert the LCD cable, the digitizer cable, the home button cable, and the front-facing camera and sensor cable. Make sure flex cables are properly aligned before snapping back into place, and gently push on connections until they connect. Insert the front panel assembly cable bracket to the logic board. Insert the 5 Phillips screws securing the front panel assembly cable bracket. Holding the LCD at a 20-degree angle, secure the assembly into place by snapping together the latches on top. Run your fingers along the sides, being sure that the assembly slips evenly into the frame. Make sure the new screen sits flush inside the frame. If the frame is bent, do your best to bend it back into shape. If you're still having trouble, please contact Werx for assistance. Insert the 2 pentalobe screws next to the lightning connector. If you have questions related to this repair, please contact Werx for assistance.